Hello, welcome to the Inner Alchemy for August the 22nd, leading us through to the 27th. I'm not even gonna lie, this is probably like my 10th time trying to record this video. There is just such a clash of energies that is coming through right now that it really does take some time to really decipher through the teachings and to reach the clarity of what it is that is really trying to come through. So let me try to break some of this down for you. And for those who are new to Inner Alchemy is a blend of the teachings of human design and branching that off into the gene keys. So it's very much about using your human design birth chart, and you can get a free copy by visiting my website, lovingenergyrecharge.com. It looks at the pattern of the mandala wheel, and about every 6 days, one of the gateways opens in that wheel. That then gives us the opportunity to learn about our shadow tendencies, so our lower vibrating energies, and more importantly, how to start the transmutation process by bringing in the gift, bringing in the higher vibrating energies in order to grow and mature both spiritually and emotionally. Now, right now, we have just entered through gate number 59, which is known as the gateway of intimacy. At the same time, we are ending out Leo season. So Leo is a fire sign, and it comes with it the patterns or the themes of being in the fifth house of romance, pleasure, and leisure. Now, all of a sudden, on the 23rd of August, we enter into Virgo season. And we also have a new moon in the sign of Virgo to start things off. This means that we're transitioning from that element of fire, that fifth house of the pleasure, the leisure, the romance, and we're coming almost into a smackdown, so to speak, with Virgo season. It was here to ground us and root us back into the earth, back into looking at our health, our daily routines, work, and service. So when you take all of those energies and you bring it in through the lens of human design and into the gateway of intimacy, there is a big hodgepodge of energies going on. And what I've kind of come into my own contemplation is by really looking at the shadow energy in here, which is all about dishonesty. And when we're looking at dishonesty within ourselves, how we are showing up in the world, how we are showing up in our relationships to others, including allowing others' dishonesty to be accepted within ourselves, well, that creates the opportunity here for trauma. And we've all had trauma in different levels and to different degrees within our lives. And whenever you go through a trauma, the heart shuts down. The heart has a tendency to self-protect. Why? Because it's trying to keep you safe. So a lot of times we develop these patterns within childhood in order to keep that sense of safety, to keep things predictable, to keep things familiar. But they create some of our greatest sabotages. So we're leaning into the gift aspect here of learning to be more transparent, which means being more intimate to yourself, allowing your authentic self to be peeled away as you open up that heart even more to then step forward into your relationships by being the truest version of yourself and therefore receiving back opportunities for other people to also open up their hearts to you and approach the relationship from their place of authenticity. So, a good way to kind of look at this through the lens of the collective energy is at this time, there's a lot of individuals getting ready to go back to school. And at some point in time, you were one of those individuals preparing your own journey to go back to school. And when you reflect on those times, there was likely an opportunity to go back to school shopping, to get your supplies, to perhaps get certain clothes. And there was probably at the very least an idea in your head of how you wanted to show up to start your year. So that is a reflection of intimacy. When we create an idea in our mind, that we have to be something, that we have to show up in a certain way. And we put a lot of time and effort towards creating that vision in order to then present it to the world. So we see that all the time in our relationships as adults, right? You walk into the workplace and you are presenting a side of yourself that you want other people to see you as. You show up with certain people behaving in certain ways that you know they will either like or it'll just make you feel more comfortable. So we have all of these opportunities now to really examine, how are we showing up? How are we showing up in our relationships? How are we showing up within our belief in self? Are we allowing our true self to come forward? Are we stripping away the narrative of what we believe the world wants us to be? Are we ready to shed away the dishonesty that we've been carrying for too long based on that tendency to self-protect? And this new moon in Virgo, this mergence into Virgo, this gateway into number 59 intimacy, it's asking you to step in and reveal who you truly are. So you may notice that you have a lot of emotions coming up this week. This is in your human design chart, leading you down what is known as the channel of connecting. We all have a desire to connect with others. We have a desire to be needed. We have a desire for physical touch. It is part of who we are as humans. And when we allow expectations of relationships that are based on dishonesty, not being willing to see something the way that it is, not communicating our truth, not being transparent in our feelings, then we are feeding into the potential for emotional conflict. So you have some strong energy this week. We all have some strong energy this week. Really asking you to get to the core of who you are, to no longer lie to yourself, to no longer use a dishonest sense of communication, but to really be more transparent, to spend the time that you need to really see who is showing up for the world. Is your light leading the way? Is the shadow leading the way? Are you spending too much time in your mind trying to create this character, so to speak, that then you have to keep feeding a dialogue to just so that they can so-called fit in? And the biggest example that I can give of that is bringing us back into those school days of what it felt like to walk into the hallways and to be very aware as to whether or not you fit in with the peer group, and how much of the self you may have compromised by being dishonest to you or dishonest to others just to fit in. And how those things create the traumas of self-esteem, self-worth, self-betrayal, all of those parts that then really tend to shut down the heart and it shuts down the body. And it creates a narrative that says, I'm not safe to be who I am. So over time, we keep feeding those insecurities more and more and more until eventually we are living a life that is so far away from our truth that you feel lost, you feel energetically depleted, you feel emotionally overwhelmed, and at which point perhaps you start really looking into yourself with this concept of there's got to be more. And that there's got to be more, that often sets you in a course to really start to get to know who you are. That is the beautiful journey then into the intimate relationship with yourself. So if you are feeling a lot of conflicting energies right now, if you're feeling a rise in emotions, if you're just feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm just so tired of having to pretend things are okay when they're not okay, this energy is asking you to no longer pretend. This energy is asking you to have the honest conversations with yourself. Because it's only when we see our patterns of suppression, our patterns that are based in fear, our patterns that close down our heart, that we can then do the healing work that is needed in order to open ourselves back up to engage with life. So, in this higher vibrating energy, the gift aspects at this time, as you step into your authenticity, as you start to reveal who you truly are, you will naturally attract towards yourself the right people, the right projects, the right genetic matches to complement your vibration. So it is so important to accept the quality of the friendships that you really want to step into, to accept the quality in your relationships, to accept the quality of how you treat yourself. So see this as your opportunity to be your own alchemist, to take the fire that you cultivated in Leo season, in that element of romance, leisure, pleasure, bring it in now to the heart of you. Welcome in the energy of Virgo season, and let that be the hearth, the home fire within yourself as you now root yourself down into becoming the healthiest version of you and applying that to your daily routines, the work and the service that you're here to offer to the world. As we start to go through Virgo season, we are going to start entering through what is known as the ring of alchemy in the teachings of the gene keys. That means that the next 4 gate activations are going to be a very powerful time for you to really examine those shadow energies and to do your own inner work as you keep that home fire rooted and grounded into your truth and raise your vibration up into a better, more mature version of yourself, which means you're more engaged in life. You are aware that you belong. You are aware that you have gifts of blessings for the rest of humanity, and you're feeling within yourself that you're not going to pretend anymore. You're willing to be so perfectly imperfect, to be messy, to be organic, to be wild, and to let everything else that is holding you back from engaging in life, you're letting it start to burn away as you become aware of what is your truth and what is not. So this is a very powerful time. There's a lot of energetic connections in this. If you would like to learn more about Virgo season, please visit the More Than Existing Academy of Higher Consciousness. There is ongoing enrollment available within Exploring the Teachings of Virgo season, or perhaps you want to jump in and discover your sun sign. And what that means is you really start to build a deeper relationship with yourself. I look forward to traveling through Virgo season with you. Happy new moon in the sign of Virgo. Do what you can to be more open, more transparent with who you are this week, and allow yourself to call out the dishonesties within you and to be aware of how it shows up in others that are around you. And also bringing in the element of grace to understand that we are dishonest as a trauma response. So we don't need to push anything back onto somebody. Send them love. Allow yourself to come from the deepest places of your truth. And at the truth of our core, we are love. So I am sending you all much, much love. And I look forward to continuing our journey together. Namaste.